In just 6 days, the world has changed. A conflict that started with sudden missile strikes has now pulled global powers into its gravity. Iran's defenses have been shattered. Israel claims strategic victory. And looming over it all is one question. Will the United States get directly involved? The stakes? Nothing short of nuclear. This morning, Iran's supreme leader issued a chilling warning to Washington. If the U.S. engages militarily, there will be consequences no one can reverse. Yet behind the scenes, sources confirm there are serious conversations underway about American forces joining strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, some of which are buried deep beneath mountains. And then, just hours ago, Donald Trump stepped up to the microphone. What followed was part press conference, part international provocation. He revealed secret outreach from Iranian officials, talked openly about the idea of hosting them at the White House. He criticized Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. And in a moment that stunned even seasoned reporters, he said what happened on day 61 might become a very famous number. He also claimed to have spoken with Vladimir Putin, who offered to mediate. Trump's response? Mediate your own war first. This wasn't just politics as usual. This was a former president speaking like he still holds the levers of power, offering negotiation, promising destruction, and making statements that could shift alliances and strategies in real time. And now, for the first time, we bring you that moment in full. Donald Trump, at the podium, speaking without a filter. Let's listen.
You could have done fine. You would have had a country. It's very sad to watch this. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's so, everyone thought it was going to be the reverse. I didn't think so. And I was telling them, you got to do something. You got to negotiate. And at the end, last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that, and they got hit. Remember 60 days, and then came the 60. 61 is going to become a very famous number. That was one hell of a hit. That first hit, that was one hell of a hit. Not sustainable, to be honest. That's where it ended. It ended on the first night. Yes.
Is it too late, though? Do you think it's too late to now?
Really, nothing's too late. The only thing too late is Powell. Powell's too late. Too late, Powell.
Have the Iranians reached out to you, Mr. President?
What?
Have the Iranians reached out to you?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said it's very late. I said it's very late to be talking. We may meet. It's. I don't know. There's a big difference between now and a week ago, right? Big difference.
You said we may meet. Mr. Trump said we may meet. Is this about Vance and with Trump possibly going to talk?
It's about anybody. They even suggested they come to the White House. It's a big difference. But they've suggested that they come to the White House. That's, courageous, but, it's like not easy for them to do. But they suggest, because I can't go now because of what's going on. I had to come back early from the G7, which was terrific, by the way, in Canada. Really terrific, good people.
Is there a possibility of next week or sooner that
Well, I don't know how much longer it's going to go on. I mean, they're totally defenseless. They have no air defense whatsoever. We've totally captured. We've totally captured the air, Brian.
Yeah, Mr. President, you've been fairly compassionate towards the Iranian.
I have been. It's human. The human beings. I know a lot of people from Iran, from New York, from Washington, mostly from New York. They're incredible people. They're smart. They're energetic. They can be difficult, but so can you. No, they're great people. Smart people. And those people are getting the hell beat out of them now. And it's really a shame. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's another one, Russia, Ukraine is so stupid. Would have never happened if I was president. You guys agree with that, right? Would have never happened if I was president. Putin would have never done it. And I spoke to him yesterday, and I said, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, Vladimir, let's mediate Russia first. You can worry about this later. But I think that's going to work out too. But it's so many people have been killed. The big thing with that one is far more people are dead than have been reported in the Ukraine, Russia. Many, many more people. A building falls down, they say nobody was hurt. It's like ridiculous.
Unconditional surrender mean?
Well, you know what it means. Unconditional surrender. Two very simple words. Very simple. Unconditional surrender. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it. I give up. No more. Then we go blow up all the, all the nuclear stuff that's all over the place there. No, they had bad intentions. The for 40 years they've been saying death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody else that they didn't like. They were bullies. They were schoolyard bullies. And now they're not bullies anymore, but we'll see what happens. Look, nothing's finished until it's finished. You know, war is very complex. A lot of bad things can happen. A lot of turns are made. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that we won anything yet. I would say that we sure as hell made a lot of progress. And we'll see. The next week is going to be very big. Maybe less than a week. Maybe less. But is there anybody here that said it would be okay to have a hostile, very, zealots really, but to have a hostile country have a nuclear weapon that could destroy 25 miles, but much more than that, could destroy other nations just by the breeze blowing the dust. You know, that dust blows to other nations and they get decimated. This is just not a threat you can have. And we've been threatened by Iran for many years. You know, if you go back and look at my history, if you go back 15 years, I was saying we cannot let Iran get a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time, and I mean it more now than I ever meant it. Yeah.
Mr. President, a question on deportations, Mr. President. You said last week that changes would be coming for farmers who've seen a lot of the workers they rely on taken away. But then DHS said this week that worksite enforcement would remain in place, that it's a cornerstone. So what's your message to farmers?
Everybody's right. Look, we got to get the bad people out of here first, and we're doing that. We're taking them out by the thousands. Murderers, drug dealers, people that are mentally insane from insane asylums. What they gave to us, fellas, they gave. Oh, do we have anybody in here that's a member of the? No, I don't think so. You've known all these people for a long time. Any illegal immigrants in here? No. If they were, they'll find out.
Right.
They'll be checking you. You won't believe. Your whole life will be destroyed because of this press conference. Watch. They'll destroy these people. I didn't want to tell them that before they stood up. But they'll end up being. He's a so-and-so. This one is from you know where. Don't worry. I think you're going to be okay.
Sure.
I'll be right behind you.
Thank you.
Far behind you. I'll be right behind you. Now, look, we have to take care of our farmers. We have to take care of people that run leisure, hotels. I mean, we have to take care of them. But most importantly, we have to get the criminals out of our country. And Biden let in thousands and 11,888 murderers. Many of them murdered more than one person. Can you believe it? Many, almost 50% of them murdered more than one person. He let them into our country. They emptied out the jails of countries from all over the world, from the Congo, from Venezuela, from all over the place. They emptied out the jails. Many of them. I would. If I were running one of the countries, I would have emptied out my prison population into the U.S., and many countries did. And we're getting them out. Okay, we're getting them out. Thank you very much. Let's watch this. Brian, go ahead. Are you okay?
I'm just going to follow up on the immigration real quickly.
Yeah.
Can you comment on the impact of the Trump card and how much revenue that's producing?
Yeah, we have a thing called the Trump card. This has not been done before or thought of. And for $5 million, this is usually people that would either be working for companies like Apple, I think, is going to buy a lot of them, because they can't get people into the country. You know, if you come in through the southern border, you have no problem. You can be a criminal, you can be a drug dealer, and you have no problem. But if you go and graduate number one in your class from a great school, you can't get a job because there's no access to getting it. You can't get a green card. So we're going to sell that to people, in some cases wealthy, in some cases not wealthy. They'll be paid for by universities.
Well, Donald Trump taking a range of questions just on the key topic of the hour. He was asked and he said, I can't say whether the US will strike Iran. He said they had bad intentions over 40 years. I don't know how much longer it's going to go on. He also said that Iran had suggested coming to the White House. He said they are keen to negotiate, but then made the point that negotiations had already lasted 60 days on date, 61 they hit. And interesting, there was a line in the middle there where he said he'd spoken to Vladimir Putin yesterday, and Putin again offering to help mediate, and he said, mediate your own war, the war on Ukraine. And that was interesting because the president faced criticism when he first posted that Vladimir Putin had offered to mediate this particular crisis in the Middle East. He was asked about what he meant by yesterday's post, unconditional surrender, and he said, well, I've had it. We need to blow up all the nuclear stuff and then talked again about the regime, schoolyard bullies for decades. You cannot have a hostile country with nuclear weapons. So he is taking a range of questions from a range of reporters. So let's just duck back in.
They just go over to the auto pen and sign whatever the hell they wanted to sign. Because say what you want about Biden. He wasn't for open borders. He wasn't for transgender for everybody. He wasn't for men playing in women's sports. But he has no idea what the hell. He has no idea. And they were very upset. They wanted Bernie Sanders. And after about a week of this guy, they said, wait a minute, we just hit gold. This guy has no clue. He'll do anything we tell him. And then they realized they don't even have to get permission. They just go up to the auto pen. That's a subversion. That's a takeover of our government. And you people ought to start looking at it. That's a takeover. Not only did they cheat, I guess you saw yesterday came out with China and the license plates, tens of thousands of cards. They used those cards to vote on the second election, my second, the one 2020. Because as everybody here knows, I won that election by a lot. But the only good thing I can say is this is a much more historic term than I think I could have had as a second term. This is a much more historic election. And now we're going to put up a beautiful flagpole, and we're going to put up a flag. And I hope you enjoy it. And let's see how real